Welcome to Dreams Inspire Reality Podcast with Tara Darnley, a podcast for creatives looking to turn their dreams into reality with practical strategic steps from everyday people and entrepreneurs who are living their best lives possible.
Hi guys, I am so excited about this episode. I have the beautiful Rochelle Graham Campbell, and she is going to talk to us all about her amazing beauty brand that you can find everywhere. She is here. I'm going to jump into it. But first, let me tell you a little bit about who she is. So Rochelle Graham has felt a connection with nature since her early Jamaican countryside childhood with her herbalist grandmother, earning YouTube prestigious Silver Play Button Award. There's no question why Rochelle's Black Onyx 77 channel gained popularity as the go-to source of natural hair, fashion, makeup, and Jamaican cooking inspiration on the top-rated video sharing platform. With over 104K subscribers and 50 million views of her YouTube channel, Rochelle offers a powerful platform that empowers women to define their own beauty and live without limit. You can find Rochelle products all over, from Target, CVS, all over, guys. I'm so excited to have you, Rochelle. How are you?
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm doing great.
So I'm going to jump into Rochelle. I always ask my guests, are you living your dream life?
I think I am.
You think you are?
I think I am. I'm not sure, but the life that I'm living, though, is an amazing life. It's fabulous. I feel extremely blessed, but I don't know if per se it's my dream life. And the reason that being is that I didn't dream of being in this position that I'm in. I've always dreamt of being successful and having a family and being happy and being loved and not having like the burdens of financial strife beyond me. So if that is considered a dream life, I think that's great. But where I am in my business and in my life, God is who really led me here. My dreams were not this big at all. I wanted to be an attorney and that was it. But God led me here. So in a way, I think it's God's dream life for me.
I love that. And I love that you mentioned God, because I know you did mention that, you wanted to be a lawyer and you saw yourself just rocking it out, but God had other plans for you. You inspire us all. So I definitely feel you're living your dream life. So
thank you.
If not for you, for us. Watching. And I'm going to jump right into it. So you started on YouTube. Can you tell us about that? Because there is tons of YouTubers now. Some aren't as successful. Some are just starting out. Like, how did that happen? Like, just sharing your story organically and it getting you where you are at right now.
Yeah, for sure. And I definitely think when I started on YouTube approximately 10 years ago, because I started in 2008, 2009, it was a different landscape. So a lot of people who were on YouTube at the time were more authentic. It wasn't necessarily for a brand or, anything monetary gain. It was just to be able to share our stories. So when I started on YouTube, it was my emotional escape. At that time, I was young. I was 21. I think I was 22 years old. I had a lot of things on my plate. So I was finishing my degree. I was trying to obtain my bachelor's degree in business marketing, and I was taking 5 to 6 classes every single semester. Financially, I had to put myself through school. So my husband and I were working multiple jobs. I was doing a CNA job, which I started off part-time. Then I moved up to full-time. We were throwing newspapers at night, and that was an additional way for us to make money. And if you ever throw newspapers, you barely make anything, but you have to do it 7 nights a week. There's no days off. And then I was also working at an Olive Garden, especially maintaining my shifts on the weekends. So it was very stressful and everything seemed to be weighing me down. So for me, YouTube was a way for me to just get away and just be Rochelle and be free, and being able to kind of build a friendship with other women online who were also on their natural hair journey. So that's how I started with my channel. And I wasn't a brand. There was nothing big or fabulous about it. I literally had this old red Canon camera that I mounted on a couple different toilet papers and paper towels to make a tripod in my bathroom. And that's what I filmed on. And I was obsessed. Like, it became an addiction, because once I started to share and I started to get to know like the other women online, I was like, I found my tribe, and it just really grew from there.
Wow, that is so real. You mounted it on toilet.
Oh, yes. I was like, who has money for a tripod? Like, what is a tripod?
I love it.
I may do.
I love that. And I know you mentioned, well, what I read that, your audience started to tell you, well, all these DIY stuff that you're making, share it with us. We want some of it. So again, that's like listening to your tribe. So
Yeah.
how do you go from, well, this works for my hair and this is what I'm going through to, okay, how can I package this to give it to my audience because they're asking for it?
Yeah. So that same way of really starting and listening to my tribe is how I started my first online business, which was Nayamani Chic. So prior to Allocate Naturals, which is my beauty brand launching, I had another brand called Nayamani Chic where I was making earrings and jewelry for myself and I was wearing them in my videos just because I like very unique things. I like things that are fun and authentic. And my audience saw that and they were like, hey guys, hey Rochelle, hey Black Onyx, we really love your ring. Can you make one for us? And that's how I started making jewelry. So Nayamani Chic, I had an Etsy page going where I would wrap earrings with yarn and glue it and make all sort of things, put it on Etsy, and people were loving it. So the same situation is really what happened with Allocate Naturals. At this point, I had done a second big chop. So I big chopped the first time because my husband thought my mom's hair was gorgeous, natural. He was actually almost drooling over her at dinner. And I was like, this is weird. But he thought her hair was so beautiful. She had just big chop. And he asked me, can my hair look like that? And I was like, I don't know. But we went home. I had braids in. I cut my hair off while he was sleeping. And voila, I was natural. So fast forward a year later, I had colored my hair 6 times, completely damaged it. I thought natural hair was invincible. So I decided at that point that I was going to cut out all chemicals. I was going to stick to more of a natural and organic, beauty routine. Now, again, I was a broke college student. So a lot of the products that had the type of ingredients that I wanted were so expensive. I'm talking about like $40 a jar. It was way out of my budget at the time. And then even when I took the plunge and purchased products like that, they didn't work. They could not even moisturize my kinky hair. So I decided that I needed to make products for my own hair. And also, I was bald at the time because I had chopped all my hair off. So I was like, well, Rochelle, you can't do hair videos if you have no hair. How quickly can I grow my hair back? Well, I need to make a growth oil. So I mixed up my first growth oil formula. And funny enough, I'd actually shared it online at some point, and everyone was just like, no, we want you to make it for us. We need you to make a couple of bottles. So I turned to my husband and I was like, babe, my subbies, I call everyone my subbies on YouTube. So my subbies want me to make some growth oil bottles. I'll probably make like 10 of them. He's like, Rochelle, where are we going to get this money from? And I'm like, well, we could take it from here. And we had a little bit here. And he's like, rent is coming up and we have a light bill due. That's not going to work. So my idea instead was, let me go ahead and work at Olive Garden. I ended up asking someone for their shift. So I worked at Olive Garden, made $100. And I used that to actually purchase just enough ingredients, bottles from online. And then I didn't have enough money for like fancy labels, nor did I think it was going to be anything long term. So all I did was I went and got a pack of Avery labels from the Staples down the street and where I got my supplies for school. And I printed my labels on an Avery label. And yes, when water touched it, it washed away and no one could read what was on the label. But at that time, it did not matter. I just wanted to make these bottles I promised my subbies and get it out. But what I didn't expect, and as far as a platform, I put it on Etsy because I already had that Nayamani Chic Etsy store, so it made sense. But as far as like seeing the turnaround and the love for it, people went crazy. The bottles sold out before I could even announce it on YouTube. So then I had upset subbies because they were like, you were supposed to make more. I couldn't get my bottle in time. So I, at that point, decided I'm going to take the money that I made, put it back and buy even more bottles, more ingredients, more labels. And that's what really began that cycle of growing our brand organically and also bootstrapping our business. So we were able to grow our brand to where it is now without any financial investment or outside help. So we still are a debt-free business 9 years later. Now, not to say that may not change in the future, but it feels really good to have been able to sustain and grow and scale our brand to this level without going into debt.
That is amazing. Like from $100 to a multi-million dollar company. That's
Yeah.
amazing. I love like how you still, when you did the labels, you wasn't sure, but you were like,
Yes.
we're going to do it. How did your first company to allocate, like, how did you decide like, okay, I'm going to not like focus on this one because this one is more profitable? How did you like go off your first baby?
It was very hard. And I still think I get emotional about it because it's not even something I talk about as much. Here at Allocate headquarters, we still have a big poster with our Nine Money Chic logo because it still means so much to me. But it was one of those decisions where time was the essence. There was not enough time in the day for me to still make my earrings in Nine Money Chic. And even when we graduated college, we moved to the city we're based now in Fort Myers, where our headquarters is based. And I was still doing Nine Money Chic, but I was hiring outside people and having them make my earrings for me. And actually, to be honest, that's a really important lesson that I ended up learning in business, and I was able to apply it to Allocate. So I had Allocate, I had Nine Money Chic. I had to choose that I would focus on Allocate. Emotionally, I was attached to that business. Now, from a business perspective, I wasn't really there. It was more of a love, a hobby than anything else. So I decided to just put it on hiatus and let it go rather than to have it be half done, because that is still a representation of me.
Right. So you and your husband has, built this business from day one. You guys started out together. Like you said, he was like, wait, babe, we got to pay rent. So like, how are you able to balance that? Like being a wife, being a mom, and being a successful, entrepreneur, and still, have that amazing marriage and building together. Like, can you share some tips for our audience who are possibly married or working together? What has helped you guys?
I would definitely say that one of the things that I had to learn in the beginning was, especially if it's your dream and it's your passion, do not project that on the other person. So one of the things that I really loved is my husband ended up not going into his career. After graduating, he decided that he was going to help and really, fully invest himself into the Allocate Naturals brand. But the mindset that I have, and this has just been how I've been raised, whether or not he was going to join or not, I was going to keep pushing. I would have still kept pushing and growing my brand and investing in my dream. I just happened to have a super awesome best friend and husband who was willing to say, well, wow, my wife is doing this. She really loves it. It's being profitable. It's a great opportunity. Let me get in there and hustle with her. So we have literally been on the run and grind together from the beginning. But there are times that because it's something that I'm passionate about, I would go into eat, sleep, dream, breathe, inhale the business, the brand. I couldn't do anything but the brand. And you have to be really careful with that because, number one, you don't want to build a resentment towards your spouse or partner if they're not having that same level of dedication, especially if it's your dream. You have to remember that they're doing it and they're in it and they are performing, but they may not be as obsessed as you. And that's okay. It doesn't mean that they're not interested.
Stop talking to me.
Right? Doesn't mean they're not interested. It doesn't mean that they're not invested. It doesn't mean they don't believe in it. So that was a big lesson I had to learn in the beginning. Also learning when to shut off work, because my husband and I, again, co-owners, I'm CEO, he's COO. In our headquarters building where I am now, our offices are right next door to each other. And so when we're at work, we may or may not see each other. So when we go home, I'm like, I wanted this verbal diarrhea and tell him everything about my day. But he's already like exhausted and so am I. So knowing that once we leave the building, even if it was something at work that we did not agree upon, such as a decision of what retailer to go into or what products to select or anything, we leave it at the door. And when we walk out of the building, he's now my wonderful, sweet hubby wubby. And, we just go into hubby and wife mode again and knowing to separate the two or asking permission. I know it seems really weird, but sometimes I'm emotionally drained after a crazy week or traveling a lot. So he'll say, babe, work-wise, can I toss something at you right now? And I'm like, yeah, babe, I can handle it. Let's chat. Or I might say, you know what, babe, I can't do it right now, but let's talk in the morning. So feeling out each other and also, being able to recognize when that person can't carry too much, especially when it's on your personal time. And then the final thing is, I would say, finding time for each other. My schedule is crazy. And looking at even April that's coming up, I've not traveled or been away from our baby since she's been born. And I'm looking at my schedule like, oh my God, how am I going to pull this off? So while I'm scheduling in time for my son and I, this is Landon and mommy time. This is Serenity and mommy time. This is Rochelle and hubby time. You have to put your spouse on your schedule. You have to make sure that you block that time for them. I made the mistake, and I have to be honest, I made the mistake a couple of years ago where both of our head was in the sand. We're grinding, we're launching into these retailers, we're building our business, we're growing. We always were by each other's side and supportive of each other, but we became a little bit disconnected because life as parents was pulling us in, mommy, oh, we have to be at this game, and we have to do this, and we have this meeting. And sometimes, especially as women in business, we think that because our spouses are in the grind with us, or because they're just as busy, then they understand. They know it's not intentional. They understand that we may not be able to go on dates or have enough time to just sit and hang out, but it doesn't mean it's okay. You know what I mean? They may understand, but it doesn't mean that it's fine, and also doesn't mean it's healthy for your marriage. So finding that time and putting it as just as important as that time with your child, that same guilt you feel if you can't get to go out and hang out with your child sometime during that week is the same way you should feel if you don't get to have even a moment with your spouse. And if you take it like that, then you won't put your marriage or relationship on the back burner.
Those are excellent tips, and I'll be taking some of those because I think we're all at some point or another guilty with the grind and the hustle and the bustle of being parents is like another just added, bonus to life.
Yeah.
So those are excellent tips. Let's talk about your products. You guys are sold everywhere. And I want to talk about like, how did that happen? I want to talk about the ingredients. What inspired the ingredients. Of course, you're an island girl, Jamaica. And I was like so tempted to talk like this entire interview in Jamaica in patois, but I was like, you know what? No, but we got to big up our country, because it's like, we come from a like small little island, and to be able to like be where we are right now is something that we should show that we're proud. Like, we're proud Jamaicans. And I know you show that a lot.
Oh, I'm very proud. And I am like, actually, I go home so often. My daughter, who is now 10 weeks old, her first trip to Jamaica is going to be next month. She already has a passport. Yes. I can't be away from home too long. I'm like, yes,
I love it. And I know you mentioned your business has your family involved a lot. And you mentioned that your products were inspired. Well, the ingredients, you took from your grandmother's advice on saying.
My yaya, she's actually here.
Yaya.
Yeah, she's taking a nap in my office.
so you took most of the ingredients from her advice of, using natural ingredients. And I love that you use natural ingredients because I remember when I did my big chop, like you mentioned earlier, the products were insanely overpriced because there was not a lot of companies. Like now, you might have like hundreds of companies. But back then, it was literally like 2-3 companies. I remember like $50, $60, and you had to buy it because you're like, well, this is going to work for my hair because it's natural, and it never did.
Exactly.
So how did you like how did you get to like, okay, these are the ingredients I want to use. I want to make sure it's natural. I want to make sure it works, and taking that concept from like how you were raised back in Jamaica.
Yeah, of course. So for me, going natural has completely been an amazing experience for me, and it really has brought me back to my roots. So it's back to the root of who I am, not just with being natural, but also with reconnecting with my Caribbean and Jamaican culture and background and everything that I was raised to believe, which is not putting chemicals in your body. So as far as being inspired in, how the ingredients became really important to me, I grew up 7-Day Adventist. So, in the SDA community, everything is really focused on natural, and there's a lot of like herbalistic lifestyle, things like that. Reading books like Back to Eden, that was literally a part of the church community. So when I decided to create the products, I was like, well, if my yaya, when I was younger, if I got sick, she would mix up, salt and water and flush my nose. If I got a cut, she would just run in the back, mix up something, aloe vera, Cinco Bible, mix something and rub it on me. And I'm telling you, I'd wake up the next day cured. So I'm like, well, natural ingredients can help with health things. Like, then why can't I use the same approach when it comes to beauty? To me, it just seems like it's a win-win. It's not even complicated. So what I did was I started thinking about what are the problems that I was facing, or what are the things that I did not like, or what are the things I couldn't find in the products that were currently available to me. And I decided to create solutions to those problems. So that's how I really created the Allocate Naturals products. And again, because I don't overthink things, I just think things should be very simple. When I made my first product, it took a blink before I decided to make all of the other ones. I formulated 60 something products in a matter of like less than 2 years. And it was all by myself in my kitchen because I was passionate about it. And once I started to see the results, I was like, this is great.
Okay, so let's chat about retail. Like, everyone wants to get their products on big box, big box stores on the shelves. But I don't think a lot of people understand the work that goes into it, the amount of investment that goes into it. So can you share like your experience so far? Because you're literally in almost all the big box stores. So share some of the pros, the cons, the good, the bad, and what is your, been the overall like struggles for you and the wins, of course.
Yeah, for sure. So I would say one of the things that I tell people is not every brand belongs in big box, right? And I'm not saying that to tell anyone not to pursue their dreams, but it really is very important to decide, is that your end game? Is that where your brand belongs? There are some brands that are so fabulous and amazing that fit better in a boutique type style environment that doesn't do well in large retailers. But I see people who I strongly believe in or I love their brand put their products into major retail and fail or completely go out of business or go bankrupt because of the cost of doing business in major retail. And it's all because of that misstep of wanting to go into major retail when they didn't fit there or when the brand didn't fit there. I would say the pros have been the amazing ability to know that I created these quality things, and now all my subbies and all my customers are able to find these products everywhere. They can find it on any retail shelf. It's no longer something that they have to fight or jump through hoops to get, and having it easily accessible, that makes me feel amazing. I would also say that going into major retailers has allowed me a bigger platform to be able to share my message of loving our natural selves. And if you have hecka kinky hair, walking around with it and knowing you can be professional with it, I still have my picture on the side of the bottle. And that really is because I said, when little girls pick up the bottle of product, I want them to see me and know that, wow, somebody who looks like me made this. And so it's opening up doors or inspiring others through my journey, or even with my product just being there. Like literally, a Black girl made this. Like how amazing is that? Who started from nothing and made it to where I am. So those are the positive things. It also has afforded us the ability to grow our business and scale very quickly. But I would say that the risks or the downsides that people don't necessarily talk about is the pressure. So you go from when you create an amazing product or you have an amazing brand, you're more so just focusing on creating great products for your customer and doing what you love. Once you hit major retail, this is like, it's no joke. It is very pressure. It's very time sensitive. You can get a request today and you have to fulfill it by end of day tomorrow. You have to make sure you hit your deadlines as far as sending out shipments, or the penalties are crazy. Some of the penalties are someone's yearly salary. It's crazy. So if you don't have the infrastructure to be able to keep up with the demand, you can buckle under that pressure. Also, at times, being in major retail, you can lose sight of your vision and the reason why you started. So again, when you're originally focusing on your customers' needs and what you started the brand for and what your whole vision is for the company, that's great. But retail it's financial. So it's like, okay, well, you have to hit certain numbers and certain sales and certain stores. And, it becomes a numbers game. And if you're not careful, you get sucked into that and forget your whole mission and vision. And so it's really, really important to not get lost and pulled into the industry. But having the structure, I would say, and knowing how you're planning to scale is important. Meeting deadlines and being able to produce the quality products is really important. Having an exit plan, that's something that I don't even think about as much, but that's something that someone has taught me recently, is that even when you are in major retail or you have grown your business to this level, you have to have an exit strategy. You have to know, okay, well, what's my end going to be? So all of these things, come into play, and it can get a little bit complicated. I know with my brand, I'm very particular and very strategic in where I place Alike Naturals. So next, at the end of this month, we're actually announcing a retailer launch. And then next month, we're announcing another retailer launch. So back to back in the beginning, yes, oh my God, is good. So, we're still growing, but I make that decision. No one else makes it for me. We've had retailers who have approached Alike, and I've said no for years. I'm like, no, not interested, because I know that my brand doesn't fit there. That's not where my customer is. So it's important to not just focus on chasing money. You know what I mean? That's not my mission. I know a lot of people have their own incentives and their own goals, but that's not my mission. I don't want Alike everywhere. I want Alike in the right places with the right retail partners and sold in retailers that are going to respect my customer and respect people who look like me. So.
Wow, that's a lot of nuggets.
Yeah.
A lot of nuggets. And lastly, let's talk about you're very big on empowering women that look like you and just women in general. Can you talk about you have a yearly conference. Can we talk about it a little bit?
Yes, of course. So the Rise Women Empowerment Conference is a brand that I started with my business partner. The way she and I actually connected was she was one of the first retailers. She was one of the first retailers who believed in my brand and actually sold my products on her shelf in her salon at Natural Studio in Silver Springs, Maryland. So I was really, really excited about that. And she and I, we just built a friendship, and we just started to call each other to get random advice about business. And so she was my business sister, and it was amazing. And so what was able to develop and grow outside of that was a bond. And we said, wow, it would be awesome if other women who are also growing their successful businesses and brands would also be able to build with each other the same way she and I were able to. Like call each other and just bounce random ideas, or tell each other the honest, blatant truth. Or if we find something that was cool or interesting, sharing with each other. So that's where the Rise Women Empowerment Conference grew out of. Now we did 5 cities the first year, the year before, and then we did DC again in 2017. We're not doing the conference in 2018 because we're bringing it back as an entire weekend experience in March of 2019. So we're already planning, we already have our venue, and it's going to be just bigger than ever and also still a really intimate experience. What I thought was, what Angela and I both agreed upon though, I didn't just want another foo-foo empowerment event. I didn't want one where women just came in and said, oh, sister, be fabulous and be great and be yourself. And they send you on this journey. You will be successful. It's like, no, but tell me how. How am I going to be successful? I wanted these women who took the time out of their busy days, gain knowledge that they could apply to their business the day that they left there. So we have it structured with really good workshops that are very meaty. And then just the sisterhood and bond that comes along with that is also great. But it's sisterhood through learning together, not just through just cheering each other on, because cheering each other on can only go so far. You need to uplift in knowledge.
Uplift in knowledge. That is so true. And like you said, there's tons of empowerment, like conferences, and it's just like, that's what you get. Like, I've been invited to speak at some. I'm like, I'm not coming to just tell women, hey, yeah, you're going to be great. Like you need like tangible things for them to do to like get to that, level. So for sure. Now we're going to go into the fun round. And this round is going to be extra special because we going to be answering in patois.
All right, yeah.
Patois, we gonna answer in patois. So guys, if you don't know patois, you just get a Jamaican friend to translate this part. All right. So who is your favorite entrepreneur? No.
Favorite entrepreneur? No, everybody said it, but Beyonce.
Beyonce. Tell me more.
Because Beyonce has been able to be in this industry for how many years, since she was young all the way to where she is now. And she's been able to dominate even after leaving the group and stepping out on her own. She stepped out on her own faith and has been able to continuously reinvent herself. So to me, I feel like that is amazing because a lot of people can't come in a business and they don't last more than a year or even more than 6 months. So you can't say that she's not amazing because she's been able to expand her career. And even me and my husband bought the tickets to her concert this morning because it's just like, that this woman is going to be able to bring something exciting and new. So continuously being able to reinvent herself, longevity, because you can't knock her off. She's a part of this industry. Number 3, she is a branding beast. Everything that this woman does, she can build up this anticipation, but everything she does is quality. So okay, you're going to spend a lot of money to go to a concert, but it's not just a concert, it's an experience. And I feel like as an entrepreneur myself, I aspire to do that, but on my own terms, meaning always produce quality no matter what I do. So Beyonce.
Wait. What was the last Jamaican dish you have for eat?
Oh, I can't saltfish this morning because my grandmother came.
It just made me hungry.
Oh, God. No, I can't saltfish, trust me. But I can't saltfish this morning. But tonight I'm gonna make pepper shrimp, which I probably named too much pepper shrimp. But I'm making pepper shrimp tonight for dinner. And my husband don't even eat seafood, but it's all right. I'll make him something for him. But pepper shrimp for me.
What the last book you read?
Audiobook, actually, because I haven't had a chance to sit down and actually read a book in a long time. So just started last year. Now everything for me is audiobooks. So I listened to The 50th Law by 50 Cent and Robert Greene. I am telling you, I keep telling people, you cannot underestimate that book. It is absolutely amazing because Robert Greene, who does the 48 Laws of Power, he takes that same information and puts it's in the 50th law, but then 50 Cent put like the real life experience and knowledge and stuff like that in the book. So it's like a combination of factual leadership, how to boss up, how to be a great leader, and how to be able to decipher between people who don't mean you any good.
Last good deed you do for somebody and the last good deed somebody do for you.
I would say the last good deed I did for somebody was being able to help somebody kickstart their business. I was speaking to this young girl and I felt passionate about her business and about her brand. And so with no commitment at all, I gave her a check for $500 and I told her, I said, I'm going to check in with you 1 year from now and you better have made something of this. And it was somebody who kind of come from the same kind of background as me and really hearing that she's trying to get through school and she really had a plan but didn't have any money to be able to support the dream. I know $500 is not a lot to people, but it's not like something that I planned out necessarily. It was just something that I had on me, so that's what I gave to her. So I really believe in her, and I think a year from now I'm going to see amazing, amazing things. You can't expect for God to build you up, and you can't remember to reach back and build up other people as well. So I take that very serious. I would say the last amazing deed someone did for me, I know it's so random, but my executive assistant, Beatrice, her spouse actually wrote Valentine's Day cards for me. Actually, her spouse wrote Valentine's Day cards for everybody in the office, but her spouse wrote like 10 different Valentine's Day cards for me with empowering and uplifting messages. And so every time I have a very, very bad day or a stressful day, I just grab one of the cards and read it, and it's from her wife. And I'm just like, I'm so amazed and uplifted because sometimes you just need those little messages to remind you that this too shall pass,
That's beautiful. And lastly, for anybody out there where them just have a dream, but they don't know where to start, and don't know, them need from some kind of inspiration to get them going, like what advice would you give to anybody like that?
Look in the mirror and be your own best friend. The biggest thing that I can say is you don't want to build your inspiration and your upliftment based on outside people, whether it's your spouse, whether it's your mother, your grandmother, your friend, anybody, and you don't want your primary source of upliftment to come from even anybody on social media or online. Look at yourself in the mirror, and you need to be your biggest motivation. And I don't care enough. People might say it's crazy, but look in the mirror and you talk to yourself and you say, listen, I've come too far. We're going to get through this. This too shall pass. Those are things that I constantly remind myself. Remember why you started this. You cannot let yourself down. You will not fail. Saying things like that to yourself, because nobody else is going to have your back like you. And even if in that moment your dreams sometimes seem so big and nobody else seems to believe in it, as long as you believe in it and you're willing to put in the work, you'll be all right. So be your own motivation. Be your own hero.
Oh, this podcast has been so fulfilling. This is fun, for real. Thank you for taking the time. I had to go through mad hoops to get Rochelle on. Rochelle out here making major moves, but I'm so grateful that you took the time to come on, sis. And I'm super, 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 super proud of you, what you're doing. What I love about Rochelle is she is super humble. she's one of the humblest person like I've seen out here in these internet streets. And she's always pulling back and giving back to people. And she's not boastful or prideful. Like, she's just like super humble. And you can know when somebody, she supports everybody's business because I always see her supporting small businesses. So you look at that and that inspires you because we all aspire to be, able to give back and reach back and pull people forward. And that's what Dreams Inspires Reality is about, like just reaching back, doing these podcasts so you guys could be fulfilled each week, from these inspirational stories. So thank you for coming on, Rochelle. Can you tell our listeners where they can find you if they want to follow you? Because you're always going live. You're always sharing dope, tips. And her closet, guys, that's for you. We didn't talk about your closet today, but if you want to follow her just for her closet, just follow her for her closet. Tell our listeners where they could find you, where they could purchase your products, and where we can support you.
All right. So you can find myself on Black Onyx on Instagram and Black Onyx on YouTube. I'm now scheduling in my life to be able to put out more YouTube videos consistently on Facebook, Black Onyx World. But more importantly, you can find Alikay Naturals. Follow us on all social media platforms. Our Instagram is poppin'. And then you can, of course, purchase our products at Alikay Naturals, ALIKAY naturals.com. We're sold in pretty much, a lot of the major retailers, Target, CVS, Rite Aid, Kroger, the list goes on. You can find the list on our website under the store locator. And also, we still support and love beauty supply stores and salons. So you can find us in your local beauty supply stores and salons. And if they don't carry the products, send me a message or send my team a message and we can reach out to them. And if you are listening, then reach out to us because we still love to support independent business owners and entrepreneurs as well.
I love it. And again, thank you for coming on. It was an honor. It took so much notes. My first episode that I got to speak patois. Big up. To all the Jamaicans listening, you can do it. Like we're doing it. We're representing y'all and you could do it.
Yes.
Like, this is it right here. Dream big and push forward. And, we coming back for our island. We coming to make it bigger than it is.
So thank you guys so much. Inspire Reality. I love your podcast.
Thank you. Yeah. So guys, make sure you subscribe, rate, and review our podcast. Check us out at Dreams Inspire Reality for more amazing people such as Rochelle. Because guys, my circle is lit, right? All right. See y'all next time. Bye. Hey guys, let's give a quick thanks to our sponsor, Dreams Inspire Reality. Are you unsure of the steps needed to turn your dreams into reality? Have you been sitting on that product idea and not sure how to bring it to market? We've successfully launched tons of products and distribute all over the globe. Let us help you get unstuck and take your idea to market with strategic advice and practical steps. Schedule a consultation today at dreamsinspirereality.com.
Dreams inspire